Hi, my name's Gwem and welcome back to the Gwembassy. Now, a few days ago I uploaded a digital jam to the channel, and I think we all pretty much know that analog sucks and the only way to get a really fat sound is with digital equipment. So all of this gear on the bed for this jam is digital, and that was kind of the concept behind it. So let me take you through each of the bits of equipment, and maybe you'll learn something, we'll see. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the kind of pad sound that I was playing from the Casio VL Tone. Now that is just the VL Tone flute preset, but I've used this bit of kit. This is a Zoom multi-stomp MS50G, and it's been loaded with 3 effects. So this is the VL Tone on its own. It has its charm. The first thing I added was a stereo chorus. Definitely makes it sound a lot wider. The next thing in the chain was a ice delay. You get those repeats happening at different pitches. And the last thing was the particle reverb, and that's really the icing on the cake. Sounds really nice, and I just played that at various points during the jam. All that's on the mixer for the VL Tone is a little bit of bass rolled off. So a quick change of angle so that I can show you this, which is the Roland SPX1. Now this is providing the sync for everything. I could have done it all with the 707, but the way that this is connected is that the 2 MIDI outs, one of them goes to the 707 and the other goes to the TB3. And then I configured the auxiliary output with this trigger cable to run the SQ1 1/8 note per each of these steps. Now, if I'd have wanted to use the 707, what I would have done is to make the 707 the clock master, would have sent a MIDI out to the TB3. And then I could have used the rim trigger on the TR-707 to trigger the SQ1. But the disadvantage of that would have been that it would have taken the rim shot and the cowbell out of the rhythm potentially, because I'd have had to have had the rim shot at regular intervals to clock the SQ1, which would have limited the cowbell as well. So the SPX1 made things quite a bit more convenient. Now there was a bass line, of course, and that was being produced by the Soulsby Atmegatron. The Atmegatron is an 8-bit synth, which is unfortunately no longer made, but you can still pick them up, and I know Soulsby Synths is working on a follow-up, and I'm sure it'll be every bit as good. The Atmegatron is being sequenced by this Korg SQ1 step sequencer. Let's mute everything else and just play that now. Now that has plenty of richness and bass. One of the reasons for that is that I turned the bass boost up on the Megatron all the way. It's just a basic preset that I dialed in with a little bit of the digital filter with a kind of a tack to get that wob sound. But all the richness and grit comes from the Atmegatron itself. The TR-707 playing, I won't bore you with the fact that it's probably the best drum machine ever made. But I did have quite a cool pattern playing, which I will demonstrate to you now. So this has been modified with the Harry Axton ROM expansion, and I selected the 808 kit. Now originally when I started this jam, I wanted to do something a bit more banging, so I had the 909 kit loaded. Rather than running at 122 BPM, I was running at 135. And I wanted to do something a bit more aggressive. But the thing is, I started to feel quite ill. I didn't really feel like producing a banger anymore, so I slowed it down and switched to the 808 kit. But I think it sounds really good on the Harry Axton upgrade. The kick drum and the other instruments are on separate channels. All the other sounds have reverb added to them by the good old Zoom RFX 300, which today is on a plate reverb setting. The kick drum is completely dry. The other sounds have a little bit of a mid boost and a lot of the bass removed. So you get that 8-bit crunch filtering like the 808 sounds. I think it sounded really nice. And the last thing is the acid line. Now that is produced from this Roland TB3, which they call the touch bass line. And a lot of people don't like this bit of kit. They think the colours look garish, but I think you have to look beyond that. And in fact, this thing is absolutely amazing, and I think a real bargain. So it has a whole bunch of really good 303 sounds in. Then you have a number of banks of other types of sounds from other synths. It's got 2 effects engines. You can edit it from your computer. It's got a super easy to use sequencer. And honestly, I don't see what's not to like about it. But some people do dislike it, which might be to your advantage because you could pick one of these up pretty cheap secondhand. So there's a bit of reverb on there. Now I've taken out all of the low end, which I semi-regret. It might have been nice to have a bit of warmth out of the TB3, but that's what I did. I guess when I started to feel sick yesterday when I was doing the jam, I wanted to strip out anything that could possibly be uplifting and energetic, and I kind of went for a more cold sound. And there's a second acid line that I used as well. I generally have 2 acid lines in my jams, and I switch between them. So the last piece of kit that we haven't covered, which traditionally is the last thing we always cover, is the Elasis nano compressor. So I'll play the jam and I'll switch the compressor on and off so you can hear the difference. Off, on. And it's so much fatter with the compressor on, and I literally just have it taking off about 6 dB of gain. It's not set on anything crazy, but even that lifts it up. So I hope you found that breakdown of the jam interesting. This was a cool one to do. I felt so rough when I was producing it, and I think that has given the song a kind of a C6 sort of vibe, a bit different to the stuff I normally do. It'd be great if you could leave the video a like and even consider subscribing. That would be even better. Thanks a lot, and I hope to see you in another video soon. Take care.